Pregame.com.
Thursday, big dance. We're taking a look at Connecticut and Iowa State. I'm Marco D'Angelo. He's Steven Nover. This is going to be Steven's free selection, and I'm going to counterpunch him. And am I going to be counterpunching you on the same side, or are we going to be counterpunching on opposite sides?
Well, I got to go with Connecticut here, Marco. Low price, Big East team starting to come on, and I think the key for Connecticut is it was a very unsettled season with Jim Calhoun's absences. Well, he's back on the bench. Things have settled down. They're playing better. They've been hot until they ran into Syracuse, but other than that, they've been winning Connecticut, and I think they're playing good ball. I like some of their talent. I like the guard Lamb. I like the center Drummond. I'll take him at this cheap price.
Well, as Lee Corso would say, not so fast, my friend.
Okay. Well, you're in trouble. You're going to be quoting Lee Corso.
Well, I can guarantee you one thing. I'm not going to be putting a Connecticut Husky head on or an Iowa State Cyclone. But I'm going to disagree with you. Connecticut, seriously, I think the selection committee this year, we test pro athletes, ball players and that, I think we should take a drug test on the selection committee because I want to know how they put Connecticut in here. This is another team to me that's questionable. Yeah, they're in here because they're the defending champs. They're Connecticut. It's the name. But, Steven, they went 6-10 their last 16 ball games. Yeah, I know they got hot at the end, the last couple games there. But 6-10 your last 16 games. Let me just stop for a second and explain something to you. 5 of those 6 wins that they got down the stretch there in that 6-10 run, 5 of them wins, those teams are not playing in the big dance. I'm not impressed with those wins. The one win that they did get over a team in the big dance was West Virginia, who did an impression of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde all season long, blowing big leads and up and down in another team that underachieved this year. I just think that Connecticut is favorite based on their name. Iowa State's a team that's flying under the radar for 2 reasons. One, it's Iowa State. But when you come from a conference that's the Big 12, that I think top to bottom was the best conference in all of college basketball this year. I don't know if who was better or deeper? The ACC?
I'd say the Big Ten.
Top heavy, but what about the bottom half?
Well,
the bottom half was pretty ugly in the Big Ten this year.
True, I'm basing that opinion mainly on the top half. I thought it was a strong conference.
When you've got a conference that has Kansas, Missouri, Baylor, all 3 of those teams are top teams in the country. Yeah. And then you round it out with the next flight of Texas and Kansas State. This is a very deep, tough conference. And I'm going to tell you something. Iowa State owns a win over everybody I just read off of those good teams. Connecticut doesn't have those quality wins in the Big East, which everybody said was down this year. It wasn't the typical big, there's Syracuse in there and Marquette now, but top to bottom, the Big East wasn't as strong, people said, as in years past.
Well, the Big East usually every year is the strongest conference, top to bottom. This year, I would agree, it wasn't, but I don't think I would rate the Big 12 ahead of the Big East. I think the Big East is either the first or second best conference, and Iowa State, they're a perimeter team. They kind of live and die with, the 3, and Connecticut's. They're tested. I think there's some stability now with Calhoun. I have a lot of faith in him. I know it's history, but I was very impressed with what they did last year. They've won 3 of their last 4. They played Syracuse tough. I just think they're coming on, Marco. It's more or less a feel. I mean, Iowa State could get hot, and it wouldn't shock me at all, obviously, if they were to beat Connecticut. Considering the low point spread, but just got to lean here to the Huskies.
Yeah, I think they're I think the line value is with Iowa State. I think Connecticut's only favored in this game because of name, reputation there, Calhoun. I think Iowa State's flying under the radar. And I am going to disagree with you on one thing. Big East was not better than the Big 12 this year. And if you want to bet a lunch, I'll give you a proposition. Sweet 16, when we move on, we go to the Sweet 16, there'll be more Big 12 teams left in the Sweet 16 than the Big East.
Well, I'll pass.
And the Big East has more entries going in. What did it get, 9? And you got a couple in the you got one in the +4 category too. So you got more horses that running for you.
Let me think about it.
Let me think about that. Yeah, I put them on the spot for the lunch. But I just this is one of those ones. This is your free pick. So officially, you're going with Connecticut. What do you see them winning by?
I see them winning by 4. Close game.
Well, I see it by 4 too, but I'm going to see it 4 the other way. So we'll. This is for bragging rights. So we could do 2 bets. You could have a chance to hedge. You could split out. We can bet this one for a lunch, and then we can bet the who ends up with more in the Sweet 16. Or you could bet both and go for the split, chop pot.
Well, I just checked my wallet, Marco, and I think after our lunch today, I'm afraid I'd owe you 2 lunches, so I'll have to pass on this.
No problem. All right, there you have it. Before we go, I got to tell you, I'm giving Stephen a little bit of trouble there and busting his stones, but all kidding aside, you're on an amazing run, my man. 20-5. NBA and college combined, your last 25 paid picks, is that correct?
Yeah, I've been hot on the paid picks. They've been turning out, Sometimes, you work hard, as you do, and all the cappers on pregame, and sometimes the results are there.
So, 20-5, we can skip lunches and we can head down to the steakhouse and grab RJ, head down to Del Frisco's. But check Stephen Nover out. Seriously, guys, this is a guy, not a lot of hype. He's not going to be one of those guys screaming and yelling at you. And I had to tell you about his winning streak. He doesn't bring it up. You're old school, and it's a breath of fresh air. You're a guy that's done this through the trenches. I mean, you were, for the people that don't know, you were a journalist before a handicapper, and that was your backing for learning your trade. You learned it from the inside out. We look at it from the outside in. You got to see it from the locker room out. We've got guys that were former bookmakers, like Lenny Del Genio, different guys. Everybody from a different viewpoint on how they got to their successful spot. But you getting to interview players all those years and beat writers that you made connections with, you've got your pulse on teams. And if I got a question, a player, I'm going to go to Steven and say, hey, this guy that's questionable, how much does he mean to this team? You know all of the players inside and out. So kudos to you, sir. That's it. You can give me that $20 when we get off the air for that plug. He's Stephen Nover. I'm Marco D'Angelo. That's going to wrap up the first segment of videos for this week. We've got everything covered through Thursday right now. We're going to be back in the studios on Tuesday. We're going to be taping. Vegas Runner's going to be in with me, and we're going to be taping Friday videos or the Friday games on video, and then we'll be back later in the week. Brian Leonard and myself will take a look at what happened on Thursday and give you a preview for Saturday. So stay tuned to pregame.tv all week long. It's your one stop for all of your betting needs this week. Thanks for watching, guys.